you? This is your girl J Baby, and I'm gonna give y'all this video that y'all been waiting for on the pink boots. But the first video I didn't like it, so on the pink boots. So I'm gonna do the exact same boot, but I'm gonna do it with this fur. So I know y'all been waiting for this, y'all been asking for it, and we're gonna do this today. Today is Sunday. Yesterday I was in the hospital, and yeah, I was in the hospital and they had to do some surgery on me. So I'm really not up to it, but I make promises, and I couldn't do it yesterday, so I'm going to get it in today. Really don't feel too good, but I'm going to get it in today for y'all because I really appreciate y'all being my subscribers, and I know y'all waiting for this boot, so we're going to get this boot done. Now, I was going to make a pattern for this, just do one whole video on how to just do a pattern for this boot, but we're going to do the pattern today, and we're also going to do the sew down today. So what you're going to need is some type of plastic bag to put down on your floor. You need to be on the floor with this. I wouldn't recommend being on a table because it'll fly all over the place, the fur. So you're going to need a mask, and I've learned the hard way, and actually a tissue to put inside this mask when you put it over your nose. You're going to need some needle and thread. You're going to need, of course, your boot. Now, I couldn't find the gray ones I wanted for this, but it doesn't really matter because they're going to be covered all up and nobody's going to know. Now, these boots, all of my boots, ladies, come from Walmart. I don't get them from anywhere else but from Walmart. And these boots right here are the Faded Glory ones. And I'm going to also show you, I may have already showed you a video in the beginning of this video, or I'm going to show it to you later on, me going to Walmart and purchasing the boot and how much it costs for the younger kids to have a boot. You know, I think it's like $9 some change, but these boots right here was $9.97, and this is exactly how they come, just like this. Now, like I said, I wanted gray, but I couldn't find gray, and I wanted to get this video out to y'all. So what I did, in the midst of me not even feeling good, I went out and got some boots, and so we can make this. So I'm gonna have, actually I'm probably gonna do some gray acrylic paint around here when I'm done. I don't know, I may just leave it the way it is because you're not gonna be able to see it when I'm done. So this video is not gonna be short at all. It's gonna be a nice long video. So I showed y'all before with me getting the fur coat. So what you're going to do, and we use the sleeve. So what we're going to do is that we're going to get any type of shirt. And what you're going to do is put your feet in that shirt. And make sure that that shirt covers your whole feet. And if it does, then you take your boot and you put your boot on. And you make sure that, well, I'm sorry. Then you cut it off. Then you get your boot and you put your boot on your feet. And you take that sleeve, you cut it in half underneath of, you have a whole sleeve, and what you're going to do is that you're going to cut the whole sleeve off of here. Then once you cut it off, you will have something that looks like this. This is the sleeve. I'm trying to go slow with y'all, that way y'all really get it. And this is the sleeve that I cut off of the shirt. And it goes like this. Now, once you've taken your sleeve off from the base of the shirt, underneath the arm right here, it's going to be a seam. Just like any shirt, it has a seam under here. You see that? That's a seam. And what you're going to do is that you're going to turn that sleeve inside out, but I already cutting mine. So what you're going to do is that you're going to cut the underarm part. So that means that you have your sleeve, all of this is cutting off. You're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut all of that. And it gives you this. This pattern right here is what you need. All you need to make your boot. All you need. Now, with this, it goes like this. And I've shown you with the fur coat. It goes just like this. and it fits all the way around the back. All the way around the back. And of course you're going to have some extra fur that's up the top, and if you do, that's okay, because we have to actually tuck this inside and we have to sew it all the way around. So that will be your pattern for your boot. Do you see this? I hope that you can get this really good. This is what you're going to have. If you find out that the boot does not cover, the fur does not, the pattern that you have does not cover the whole back, then once you lay your pattern down, you're just going to cut a little bigger in the back, a little extra. But it should. I mean, I wear size 9. This is a size 9. I actually wear 10, but this is a 9. In the boot, you don't want the boot to be too big. So, let's get started. Get your sleeve, ladies. Get your scissors. Get your thread. Make sure it's some really nice, sturdy thread that won't break really good and really quick. Get yourself a needle. Y'all know I put in my mouth. Get yourself a needle, a hook needle. This is a weaving needle. Get this needle. You have your scissors. You have your mask. And of course, I need glasses. So, make sure that you have your trash bag down or anything to cover your area with. That way that you will not mess yourself up. And you have to have your fur. So, this is my fur. And I'm going to place the camera with, make sure that your fur is open all the way. Because you're not going to, don't fold it. Please don't fold it. You can do, well, I mean, if you want to fold it, you can. That way you can do 2 patterns, but it's going to overlap and you're not going to be able to get the full effect of what you need. Then you're going to have to do more. You have your fur and you laying your fur down. It's important to know, and I have a mask on. Can you see it? It's a mask. So it's important that when you get ready to do this front of your boot, which is right here, you have to have the fur going let me show you. You want your fur to be laying down that way. You don't want your fur to be, you don't cut it from here and put your fur there. Make sure that you cut it with the fur going up. I hope you understood what I just said. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my pattern down here. So I'm not going to put my pattern the long way. I'm going to put my pattern straight where the fur is going up. So I'm laying it up. I don't know if you can see it. I'm hoping you can see this. And I'm just going to go ahead on and I'm going to, you can pin it down if you want to. I'm not going to pin mine down. I'm just going to make sure that I got everything lined up the way I need it to be. And what you're going to do is just cut your pattern. I'm going to leave a little bit of room in mine. You know, if you need to leave a little bit in yours, then you can. And what you're doing is just cutting from your pattern. Like I said, if you want to pin it down, you can. I'm not pinning mine down because I've done this boot so many times. Now, this right here is my pattern. This right here is what I cut. And it's fur all over the place, I'm telling y'all. So, what you do is take your ends and you kind of like just get this from off of here. And make sure you have on a mask, please. If you have allergies, have on a mask. I have asthma and I have allergies, so I don't want this fur everywhere. This is your pattern right here for your boot. So let me go ahead and cut the string from here. And I'll show you. Now you see the fur coming up. You want the fur to come up this way. Don't have the fur laying down. Please, when you cut it, have the fur to come up because you want the fur to sit up. Now, once you start to sew it down, I'm sorry. This is how this should look around your whole boot. You have the fur and the fur is sitting up. That's okay because some of the fur do have to be cut. And this is your pattern right here for your boot. And you see that boot very, very fluffy. So I'm going to go clean this up and I'll be right back. Okay, ladies, once you already have your fur cut, the first pattern, what you're going to do is you're not going to use the sleeve anymore. You're just going to go ahead on and take the pattern that you already have cut because you need two pieces. You have two boots. You have two boots that you have two boots you have to cover. So you're going to use the pattern that you cut from here. That way you know it's precise. And you go ahead on and you just cut. Remember to have the fur going up when you cut this, ladies. And be careful not to cut this fur that you already done did. If you need to pin it down, you can pin it down. I hope y'all enjoyed your Thanksgiving. I had a very nice Thanksgiving. Besides the fact that I had to get surgery and knew I had to get surgery. So, here's both of my pieces. That's for both of my boots. So, I'm going to go clean this up and I'll be... Ladies, I took the liberty and went on and sewed this boot down. But this boot I made higher up here. I made it because I wanted it to be higher. And this is what this looked like. Right here. You see that? Look at that boot. This is if you want to go higher on your boot. Usually the boot be down here. But if you want to go higher, then this is the method I use for this boot right here. So, let's get started on this boot, ladies. For the ones who want it higher, we'll do it higher. For the ones who want it lower, we'll do it lower. And I'll show you how to do the tuck, okay? This boot, I made this boot higher, y'all. Look at it. If you want it lower, they can go lower. But if you want it higher, then it's higher. Now, I'm going to keep reminding y'all of this boot that I made throughout the whole tutorial. Because I'm going to tell you, the boot is not easy at all to make. So, this is this boot. Beautiful, y'all. Beautiful. Grab that boot. Yes. Yeah, there we go. Grab the boot. Grab your pattern. Let me kick off my shoes. Okay. This is what we're doing. You're going to take that fur and go around that boot. Make sure that the sides even up together. Just how this is. And the first thing we're going to start off doing. Hold on, let me gather mine, y'all. Wait for me, y'all. Wait for me. And you see, this boot goes all the way around. It covers the whole thing. So, what we're going to do is start off like we did before on the other boots, y'all. We're going to start off with putting the needle through. And we're going to put the needle through only a piece of it. Y'all see that? Only a piece of it. You're not putting it through the whole thing, but you're putting it through a piece of it. You bring it through, that's it. It goes down. So what we're going to do is sew all the way around, y'all. Just that easy. Just sew all the way around. Now, yes, some areas will be a little tougher than the other ones. But you just go ahead and work it through anyway. It's worth it. So, you know, it's definitely worth it. So, just go ahead on and sew the boot. Make sure that you go under it. Sew under. Don't sew over top of it. Because if you sew over top of it, you're going to have a problem. And you want that fur to be able to lay right. So, and what you do is take your needle right here and just pull out the fur that you want. But don't take the stitching out. Just pull out the fur. That's it. So we're going to finish going under here. And you see I'm only taking little teeny pieces. Let me see if I can zoom in. Same concept. If you always look at some of my other videos, you'll see that same thing. Same concept. You see that? This is the part I did right here. Now what I'm going to do is just go ahead and sew all the way around. This is what I need y'all to do, and I'll be back through a couple of steps. I think this boot took me like 20 minutes to do. So, it's not really long to do this boot. Like probably 15 minutes. 15, 20, well 20 minutes. And yes, if you have a problem, wiggle it. Wiggle that needle through there, y'all. And you see that? But of course, you let your fur come down. When we're done, we'll pull the fur out. But it's already out. You see that? So you just keep going around the boot. Y'all hear that? This boot is hard. It's hard to get through. But you don't take it through the whole boot. You're only going to take it through some of the threading that's in the boot. And you see that? That is in. That's tight. Now let me give y'all a little reminder of what we're making again. Here you go, y'all. Here you go. This to keep you motivated. And you just keep on going around the boot. Y'all see it takes me a couple of times to get through it, but it's worth it. Better than sewing it, better than gluing it down, because if you glue it down, you got yourself a messed up boot, y'all, if you glue this down. If you glue it down, it's going to be trifling, really trifling, so. And actually, doing this boot on camera is a little bit harder for me than doing it without being on camera, because it's a certain kind of angle I have to try to put this in so y'all can be able to see it, so it slows me down from doing the boot. But, you know, I will do it for y'all. We'll do it for y'all. These make nice gifts, y'all. Y'all got Christmas gifts y'all want to give to somebody. What? Make them a boot. Everybody love these boots. Make them a boot. You ain't got to go spend all that money. You had some leftover fur. Make them a boot. Make them a fur little, excuse me. Make them a fur hat. Make them a fur scarf. Make them a fur vest. Make them a fur little purse, hand purse or something, anything. You know, turn your little favorite TV on, TV show while you're doing this, or talk to somebody on the phone. It goes a little bit quicker when you're doing that. And I have my thread mixed up. Okay, here we go. So, yeah. This is one side done already. One side is done already. I'm towards the front, y'all. Where y'all at? Don't leave me. Y'all better wait for me. So, I'm going to pull this out a little bit. There we go. And like I said, it's kind of hard for me to do it while I'm on camera because of the fact that I'm angling to have to try to angle it a certain kind of way so y'all can be able to see this as I'm doing this. So yes, it's kind of hard. I hope my big fingers ain't in the way, y'all. You see that? Yes. So I'm going to go finish sewing some more of this and I'll come back. And this is the same way I did my pink boots. But I just didn't keep that video, y'all. I didn't like how that video was. And, I mean, it's hard for me to angle that camera right and get everything right. And then I had on a shirt that I really wasn't kind of happy with. So, I didn't want to show y'all all my business. I'm pretty sure y'all didn't want to see my business. You wanted to see the boot. So, yes, that's the reason why I didn't put that boot tutorial up. And I was like, do you want a tutorial? But I was going to put it up at first, but I was like, oh, no. We cannot be showing all our business to people. I hope y'all ain't moved forward. Don't leave me now, y'all. Don't leave me. Like I said, if you're having a problem, wiggle that needle. Oh, and the thread that I'm working with, y'all, is the Doyle. It's the Doyle Duty hand quilting plus. Well, the Dual Duty Plus is hand quilting thread. This is what I'm using. Of course, you already know if you're doing a black boot, you want to use something that's black. If you're using pink, you want to use something like maybe a pink, a burgundy, or something like that in that family. You don't want to use, if you're doing blue, you want to use a blue thread. Please don't use a white thread and you're doing a blue boot because it's going to show through. Okay, y'all, I'm finished going around the boot. So the whole boot is done all the way around. All the way around is done. You see that? You got to take your thread and you go through and just pull out the fur so it can cover around the boot. You see that? So everything is covered down. And this is what you have left. The needle is right here in the back where the seam is, y'all. It's the seam that's back here that we have to sew. We have to sew it up like that in the back. So what you're going to do, now we're not going to sew all the way up because we have this fur right here. Unless you're going to make the boot like this one and go and have it where as though it go all the way up your leg, then you go ahead on and you're gonna cut. Once we get to a small piece of it, we're gonna cut. But let's just go ahead on and go through here. Since we got the thread right here in the back, y'all see it? This is the back where our thread was left off at from going around the whole boot. So now what you do is fold your piece over. Fold your piece over, and you're just gonna go through the boot like so. Now, I hope y'all didn't leave me. Hope y'all didn't just continue it, because this is an important step. You got to close your boot off. And we're just going to go up this whole boot right here. And you see where the thread is? It stopped off. You just bring your thread, your fur through. That way you can't even tell it's undetected. You cannot even tell that you're sewing up that boot. So let's continue to keep sewing up the boot. It's fairly easy, y'all. Just sew up the boot in the back. It don't have to be perfect because the fur, it do have to be tight though. Because the fur, you're going to pull the fur out in the back. And you're not even going to see any of that thread. You see? You don't even see no thread at all. So, I'm going to continue to sew up. Sew it all the way up. So, in other words, we're sewing all the way up the back part of the boot. Make sure you hold your thread taut so the thread don't go anywhere. Now, I may be sewing upside downwards to y'all. I apologize, but I have to be able to make the boot. This is how this look. You can't even see the thread at all. Now, once I'm going to feel right here. This is where the top of my boot is. And you see all this. So, this is where I am going to stop. So, what I'm going to do is go here on and tie this off. What we're going to do is just cut. We're going to tuck. Since we cut it, we're going to tuck it inside of the boot. And it should look something just like that. You're just tucking it. And we're going to go and sew all around here. So, your first one, you take it through. This so you can have it real fuzzy up at the top. You want it to be fuzzy. And it's no specific way. Just make sure you don't prick your finger, y'all. If you look at some of the other videos that I have on this boot, I show you what line that you're going to be sewing it to. So I hope that y'all saw that, because I sure didn't just tell you. But it's a line that's at the top of your boot that you're sewing this to. And like I said, please be careful, because I have pricked my finger so many times trying to do a boot. And I don't want you to prick your finger, because that hurts. This is much easier at the top. It may not seem to be, but once you find the top area, it's easier to sew it than it is at the bottom, because the line is not so hard around the boot. But it's much easier. It's just trying to find it. Keep going. That way you'll have the fur looking like this. Real nice and fluffy. It won't look like it's cut. And you could do big stitching. It don't have to be small stitching, just as long as it don't come loose. You know, that's what you're looking for. And I'm almost around the back. What about y'all? You are really, that's my son keep running around, y'all. If y'all hear some little beeping and all that, that's my son keep walking past here trying to get a meal deal, y'all, for itself while I'm recording. So, I'm around the back area, and I'm basically done. So what I'm going to do is just stick this needle back here some kind of way. Back in here. In the inside of here. And I'm going to find just the thread. It don't matter where you tie it off at. Stick it through somewhere, y'all. And just make a loop. And just tie it off. Now, I done just showed y'all 2 different types of boots, if you know. Notice that I just showed you 2 different types of boots. Now, one of them, this one that I did right here is the one like I did the pink. So, here's the tutorial for that. And the other one, if you want to make it where as though the boot go up higher on your leg, then I will show you what to do with that. So, we're going to just go ahead on and cut that. Bring your fur out, ladies. Bring your fur out. And this is what this looks like in the inside. You see that? So, this one right here is much taller than this one. Let me zoom out. Okay, you see this one is much taller than this one. So you can make it short, or you can make the one that's higher. Now, if you're doing the one that's higher, instead of cutting the fur, you don't cut the fur. You just continue to sew it all the way up, and you will get this. So I will show you the difference between them two. Okay. Of course, your pants will be down under it. So, this is the difference between them two. One is higher, that you can make it higher. And then the one, this is the pink one that I made, which is much, much smaller. One is higher, one is lower. So you can make it like this, or even you make it smaller. If you make it smaller, then you have to do the tuck-in method. If you make it higher, then you just sew the whole entire top up.